Hi, I'm Ricky from CETV, and today we're talking the new Sony camera, the FX3, with Jayden from Osprey Creative. Welcome to the channel, Jayden.
Thanks, man. It's good to be here.
So, Jayden, you spend a little bit of time with this camera, but just tell us about what you normally do, what sort of cameras you deal with on a normal day-to-day basis.
Yep. So, obviously, my name is Jayden. I'm a director at Osprey Creative, and yeah, we use a bunch of cinema cameras in our field, from higher end to the low ends, and
so you've used them all.
Used them all, man. Big chunky ones to the small ones, and this is a killer. This fits in nice, using all those sort of cameras from DSLRs, mirrorless cameras, right through to the cinema cameras. Right through, yeah.
This fits in. Whereabouts does it fit in, I guess?
Oh, it sits right in with this. Even though it looks like a DSLR or a mirrorless camera, it sits right up there with the FX6 and the FX9. It's a game changer.
Yeah, nice. So it's still a full frame camera.
Yep.
The cinema cameras generally aren't full frame. But this one is, for the size. That's pretty amazing.
It's
awesome. How valuable is that for you for a cinematographer?
Incredibly valuable. The picture and the image quality you get with a full frame is it's unbelievable. Especially when you're shooting in 10-bit 422, it's just pure cinema.
Yeah, nice.
And that's what we wanted to do. We went out and we shot a short film with the time that we had. We had it from Sunday to Tuesday. And it was a tough shoot. We had 20 people on set, pre-production hell from like Wednesday to Sunday. But it was enjoyable. The crew was just amazed at what this thing could produce, and everyone was hyped. When we shoot a shot, and then you watch it back, everyone was just stunned.
Yeah,
it was
nice.
Awesome, especially from how small this is. Yeah.
Yeah, it would really make it nice and easy to use, being so portable rather than having a lot of gear on there.
That's right.
So the battery life, you talked about shooting for 3 days, pretty much non-stop.
Yep.
So the battery life in these things are generally terrible.
Yep.
But how was it in this?
It was surprisingly tolerable. It was good. It lasted maybe, I think, 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then we just swapped over. Next one on charge. We had 3 batteries, and it never caused an issue.
Yeah,
so
nice.
If you're needing it to put on a gimbal, if you've got it on a V-lock battery and you put it on a gimbal, it's not going to die in 30 minutes. It'll be exhausted after 3 hours, which is awesome.
And this does use the NP FZ100 battery of the A7 series. So I guess it sort of goes between the two, where you've got a cinema camera, like the FX6.
Yep.
Then you've also got a bit of the DSLR or mirrorless realm as well. So it probably fits a little bit more into that sort of with the battery and the E-mount system.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, let's pick it up. It's as you can see, very small in his hands.
Yep.
Also, I noticed this big thing here. What's that?
So this is the top handle that it comes with. It's quite cool. I think this will be really good in corporate settings.
Yep.
When you don't have a big crew, you're just by yourself. It's got 2 XLR inputs here. You got your audio channels here.
Yep.
And you even got a line in here.
Yep.
3.5mm jack. And so that means there's 3 inputs that you can have in. It's a 3-way interview.
Yeah.
And you're just by yourself. You plug it all in, and it's awesome. And also, obviously, it's a top handle.
Yeah.
So you can carry it around.
Nice.
And then obviously when you take this off, it becomes way lighter.
So this is removable?
Removable, yep. Take the screws out and you pull it out from here.
Yeah, nice. I notice here it's got a very angled touchscreen, I believe.
Yeah. That's great. It's so handy to obviously have a touchscreen that moves, not like other competitors that shall not be named. But it's just perfect to have what the A7S III brings, and you can chuck into a cinema camera. again, this portable and to be flipped out, and then the LCD, it's bright, it's sharp. You don't have to squint to see the focus. You know where the focus is. And talking about focus, the autofocus.
Yeah, it's very important.
It's very impressive.
Yeah.
I was blown away. We were all blown away. Sunday we were on location testing out the camera for the first time, and as soon as the autofocus changed, everyone was like, "What? What is going on? Move to the next one." What? It was awesome. Like, yeah, again, game changer.
And I believe this camera has eye autofocus in video. Is that
That's
correct?
right. You can lock it onto someone's face, and then when you're pushing it for a dolly shot or they're coming close to the camera, you don't need a focus puller.
It just doesn't miss.
Save some money. Save some money.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So let's talk a little bit more about the low light capacity. Everyone needs low light these days.
Yeah, that's right. Especially
how does this camera handle it?
Really well. Especially if you're a one-man crew, and you've got maybe another guy with you setting up lights, but you're out in the dark. This thing can go up to 409,000 ISO.
Sorry, say that again.
409,000.
Wow,
yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah. Obviously, when you're on a film set, low light capabilities don't really come into play because you've brought that into factor, and you have a crew set up lights, and you're generally around 100 ISO to 800. It's not really a factor.
Yep.
But when you're by yourself and you just need to bump it up that extra more,
you haven't got lights with you. You haven't got to carry all those lights.
You can see in the dark. So
yeah, that's amazing.
It just pulls from the A7S3 and just chucks it into here. It's really good.
Excellent.
And also talking about light, the dynamic range, seeing in shadows and in light, handles it very, very well.
So choose S-Log.
S-Log, yep.
S-Log 3.
S-Log 3, really nice to play with.
Yep.
We don't know the specs for the dynamic range, but we're guessing somewhere between 14 to 16 stops.
Wow, that's a lot.
Range. Yeah,
that's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. Especially when you get a lens that's cranked up to 1.4 aperture.
Yep.
You really see a lot. And it's just as well, it just adds to the image. Yeah.
Nice. So let's talk a little bit more about what frame rates it can do, because as a videographer, everyone needs frame rates.
That's right. Yeah.
So what is this one capable of?
So this is capable of 4K, 100 frames per second.
Yes.
Which that's pretty common nowadays, but it's nice to have in such a small body.
Yeah.
100 frames per second is plenty.
And that's in 422, 10 bit?
10 bit 422.
And that's pretty impressive.
XVC HD. It's awesome.
Yeah, nice. And working with these files afterwards, you said that you mentioned something about that they were very nice to work with.
Yep. I used some footage from its competitor, and it was very, very hard to work with.
Right.
I chucked this up, smooth as butter.
Nice.
I was so relieved.
Yep.
Really relieved. Really nice to work with, and then also color correcting the S-Log 3, the cine tones. It pulls straight from the Sony Venice.
Yes.
FX9, FX6. It pulls that from the same sensor, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
The colors, they're rich, and it just looks cinematic, which is what obviously what you want.
Which is what you want.
Yeah.
Certainly, yes. So let's talk a little bit more about the body and the features.
Yep.
It being so small and lightweight for a cinema camera. So I notice here it's got a zoom dial here, which is, I have not seen that before on anything like this. How is that useful for a cinematographer? Obviously, Sony makes some power zoom lenses.
If you're doing weddings,
yep.
If you're photographing filming the wild, then definitely very handy. Very handy to be just right next to the record button with your thumb, and then to zoom in with the index finger. Again, just handy. Big record button there. Big record button. We got record
nice
button
and easy
here,
to see.
and we got another record button in the front. Especially when you hit record, the LCD screen, it lights up all red here.
Oh, right.
And then
nice.
also around here as well, there's a light bar that comes on, and then it just glows red. So it's recording, and you know when it's not recording.
I can see here it's got dual card slots.
That's right. Yeah.
I think it runs the SD, very high speed SD cards.
Yeah, it does. And the CF Express cards as well. Yep, dual card slots, so you can put either or in. So you can have a CF Express card and SD card, or doesn't matter.
Two of either. Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I see here it's quite thick, quite chunky, but I think the reason for that, it seems to have a fan in the back.
That's right.
Is that correct?
Yeah. I mean, chunkiness has never bothered me anyway. When people go, oh, it's chunky, it's big, I like it. I like it being chunky. I mean, as long as it's not absurd, whereas if it's sticking out this way and if it's interfering with your ability to create, this doesn't. And if it means just extending itself just a little bit more, just to have a fan in, so then it will never overheat, I'm totally okay with that. Because
overheating in cameras like this is a major issue. The smaller we get, certainly in Australia, does get quite hot.
A lot of hot. Yeah.
So having fans in cameras is not new.
That's right.
But for this sort of size of camera, this is a game changer, like you said before.
Yeah, definitely. And it didn't, obviously, with the limited time I had it didn't overheat. We didn't hear it go. The fans push up. There's just silence in the fans, and you didn't even notice it.
Excellent, nice. So you talked before about using it on a gimbal, which is ideal because it's nice and small.
Mm-hmm.
But I do believe this does have inbuilt stabilisation as well.
Right. Yeah. With the time I had it, we did use it. It was okay. It was okay. It wasn't anything mind blowing. But it definitely made your shots steadier. So if you are shooting a wedding and your style is handheld, but you want that extra bit of smoothness, so it's not that micro jitters, it will take it out.
Yeah,
which
nice.
Is, I think that's all you can ask for when you ask for stabilization, is to take out those micro jitters, because it is a small camera.
Yep.
When you're using a big body like this, there are no micro jitters because it's a heavy piece of equipment. So yeah, it's good.
And with the top handle too, that would smooth it out quite nicely.
Yeah, definitely.
Just for run and gun style.
That's right.
Yeah. So just let us know, just wrap it up about your overall thoughts of this camera.
Yep. It's a great piece of cinema gear to have in your arsenal, especially if you're coming from the Cinema Alpha line. This would be perfect. If you have a gimbal that doesn't support this weight, easy as. The quality difference between the two is, you can't really tell. And the portability and just the image quality in such a small camera, I want one. So I'm pre-ordering it next week. So let's finish this up so I can get to that.
Thanks for coming in today, Jayden. No talking about the FX3. It sounds like you had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, definitely. We shot a whole short film with it in 2 days. I don't think anyone's ever done that ever. Definitely with a demo camera.
Not with this camera.
With this camera anyway. So probably the first in the world. So that'll be premiering on the Osprey Creative YouTube channel. So go there and check it out. It's called Titan.
Titan, excellent. We'll give that a good look.
Great. Perfect.
Thanks for watching. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys again soon.